Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Storytime with Grandma Kate. This week, we're going to be enjoying some Denise Fleming books. And Denise is a local Toledo, Ohio author. She lives near where I do in Toledo, and she's been writing children's books for a long time. I remember meeting her when I taught first grade at Greenwood Elementary, when she came to talk to our students about writing her books. And she's such a wonderful artist and author because she not only writes the words, but she creates the paper that creates the pictures. So she makes the paper and colors it and then cuts it out into different shapes and puts them together for the illustrations. So all week long, we're going to be celebrating Denise Fleming. And today we're going to start off with a book called BUSTER. Denise had a dog that she really loved, and so she wrote a book to just describe how much she loved her dog. Do you have a pet that you really love? I have two cats right now that Papa and I just love dearly. Dee Dee's over in the corner watching for birds, and then Jyoti, I'll tilt the camera down, she is asleep right here, getting to go to sleep right here next to me. So when she saw me get books out for story time, she came right out on the back porch with me so she could enjoy this. But anyway, if you have a dog or a cat that you love, you may want to gather them up while we read BUSTER. I'm actually going to open up the book really wide so you can see all the animals that you might see in this book. And this book is called BUSTER by Denise Fleming. And she wrote a dedication for this book. A dedication means who she wrote the book for, and it says, "For Whorfie, the best dog ever." So that's called BUSTER. BUSTER was a happy dog. He had everything he could ever want. He had dishes with his name painted on them in curvy letters, a large grassy yard with a tall oak tree to nap under, a sand pit for taking dirt baths, an in and out flap on the back door, a basket full of toys, a radio tuned to his favorite station, and Brown Shoes, who took Buster to the park whenever Buster asked. Buster was a happy dog until Brown Shoes brought home the big box. I wonder what's in the big box. This is the big box. Buster stared at the big box. He hoped there were juicy steaks or fancy French cheeses or spicy sausages in the box. What do you think? I noticed this box has holes in it. What do you think could be in there? But there were no steaks, no cheeses, no sausages in the box. There was just a bag of sand, a large flat pan, two small dishes, and a cat named Betty. Buster was not happy. Buster was afraid of cats. I used to be afraid of cats when I was a little girl. I did not like them at all, but now I do. This is Betty. Betty jumped down off the table. She began to purr and twist and turn around Buster's legs. That means she likes him. Buster was terrified. He was afraid to move. If I ignore her, thought Buster, maybe she'll go away. Betty did everything to attract Buster's attention. She slept in Buster's dishes with the curvy letters. Buster ignored her. She ran up and down Buster's tree. Buster ignored her. She dug in Buster's sand pit. Buster ignored her. She ran in and out the in and out flap. Buster ignored her. She hid Buster's toys. Buster ignored her. That's right. Then she changed the station on Buster's radio. That was too much for Buster. This says, a fine park. Buster slipped under the fence. He ran down the block, over 5 streets, and around 2 corners until he came to a park. Not his usual park, but a fine park with tall trees, a bubbling fountain, tubs of flowers, large grassy patches, and not a cat in sight. No Betty, thought Buster as he drank from the fountain. No Betty, thought Buster as he rolled in the sand. No Betty, thought Buster as he listened to his favorite radio station. No Betty, thought Buster as he fell asleep in the shade of a tall tree. I don't like that Betty. But this word says lost. Maybe he feels lost too. Buster woke up. He was hungry. He was lonely. Soon it would be dark. Buster was ready to go home. He looked up the street. He looked down the street. Nothing looked familiar. Buster circled the park to the left. He circled the park to the right. Buster had no idea which direction was home. Buster was lost. Buster asked a big yellow dog if he knew which way was home. He asked a tiny black dog if she knew which way was home. He asked the man sweeping the walks if he knew which way was home. No one in the park had any idea where Buster lived. Buster sat very still and tried to remember the route he had taken to the park. But he had been so busy trying to get away from Betty that he hadn't paid any attention. Poor Buster. I wonder how he feels. Can you tell? I'd be scared if I was lost, I think. Or worried, maybe. This word says home. All Buster could think about was how he would never see his home, his dishes, his sandpit, his toys, his tree, or brown shoes again. What would he do? Where would he go? Just then a pigeon circled Buster. It landed close to Buster's ear. "Ooh, cuckoo," said the pigeon, looking up. Buster looked up, way up. In the top of a tall tree, several streets over, Buster saw a waving ball of white fur. The tree looked very familiar. The waving ball of fur looked very familiar. It was Betty. Buster ran out of the park, around 2 corners, over 5 streets, turned left and ran up the block all the time, keeping an eye on Betty. You see, here's Betty up here. Here she is. And Buster started way down here. So he followed all the way this way and up this way and around this way and up here. And there she is. There's Betty. Buster slipped under the fence. Betty ran down the tree and over to Buster. Betty began to purr and twist and turn around Buster's legs. Buster was a happy dog. He had everything he could ever want and more. Because he had a little kitten named Betty. Isn't that nice of Betty to help him find his way home? Papa and I are going to be getting a new kitten soon, and we hope that Jyoti and Aditi like him just as much as Buster eventually ended up liking Betty. So once we get our new kitten, I will show him to you during story time. But until then, have a great day, and I'll see you at our next installment of Denise Fleming Week. Bye-bye.